30th of September for the collective. We have the Sun in reverse. So with all the success, with all the activity that you've been going through lately, collective, it is easy to see that you may feel a little raw. You may feel a little raw and like you were succeeding so much there for a while, and like you're getting knocked back down a peg now. It's not that you're getting knocked back down a peg. It's almost as though someone is coming in and looking at your work or looking at your plan, your idea, whatever it is, and telling you, well, you need to fix this, 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 and this for this to work the way that you want it to work. And it's not really going to work the way that you want it to work because it looks like it's supposed to work this way, and you'll benefit much more from it that way. So even though you may think that everything was perfect because you kind of had the blinders on, it's important you don't take this criticism too harshly, because all in all, it is to help you out and help you understand the potential of your project, your energy, your skill set, and help you utilize it further in the future. That's not to say that everything that this person says or that these people says is going to totally benefit you. So take it with a grain of salt and do your best to kind of understand it from a third person perspective, an outside kind of overall view of what it is that they're saying and how it could apply to the situation, rather than taking it personally like they're, coming in and ripping you apart. There is something to be gleaned from this, but it may not be being said in the nicest of ways, or they're being very direct. Ophiuchus for the 30th of September. We have the Queen of Cups in the upright. So, showing compassion, temper it a little bit, but there's nothing wrong with making yourself comfortable and kind of showing compassion for your surroundings. That's what I'm getting out of this for the most part, is that you kind of in this nesting behavior, because water signs, regardless of which one it is, whether it's Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, all have this way of nesting and adapting their environment to make themselves comfortable and normally other people comfortable, whether they intend to do it or if they're consciously doing it or not. So nothing wrong with staying home and making yourself comfortable today. Allow yourself to stay in that kind of perfect tidal zone of everything is fine, everything is taken care of, there's no problems here, there's no issues to deal with. Do not go looking for anything and you will remain comfortable. Also, don't let any into your house. Aries for September 30th. Queen of Swords. So with the Queen of Swords, Aries, you're going to be kind of setting some boundaries and some ground rules for how it is that people can treat you and how they can't treat you. These clear boundaries may have stirred up some kind of ire within other people. However, you have a pretty good independent mind, and I just kind of took a deep breath there, because it feels like you are frustrated and you're trying to be what you consider to be a good person and not go off on people just because they're over there like haphazardly tripping over your trigger points. But there may be more attention to that than they may be letting on, and yeah, ensure that you keep your own independent mind and you say what you want to say, how you want to say it, and ensure that there's no room for error in what it is that they're understanding. Because they may end up coming back later and trying to say that, well, you said it like this, so that's why I thought it was okay. Speak clearly, enunciate, and And ensure that they understand whenever you say it the first time, so that there's no discrepancy later on. Because they'll try and say that there is, but there won't be. September 30th for Taurus. The Fool. So whatever's been going on for the past few days, you had the Sun and then the Tower and now the Fool. So that's one hell of a combination. And Taurus, whatever it is that you've found out and you have been made to know lately, it has all been working towards this new pathway, this new idea. However, it could be you going back to something that you have previously committed to. Now, there is some warning with this because that pathway is no longer there and backtracking is not going to be an option for you. So if you do go back to something that you've previously known, or an idea that you've previously had been committed to, a person that you were previously committed to, you're going to have to build that pathway again from scratch. And even though the opportunity may be there, it's also a huge opportunity for work. So Gemini for September 30th. Three of Swords. Three of Swords, because I think you're sad to find out that you were right about someone or something. Almost as though there's three ideas, three minds involved here, and they don't want to work together. They don't want to coalesce into an idea that everybody gets something out of, and it's quite possible that you or somebody else believes that they've already been robbed of something. Now, as much as you may not be wanting to face this emotional pain, facing it will allow you to kind of deal with the fact that this is heartbreak, this is what this is not going to work out the way that I hoped it would, and then you can start the grieving process. Then you can start kind of building back out of this and realizing that, you know what, it didn't matter what you were going to do, because after this is the Four of Swords, and that is the one with the knight and the sarcophagus. It's like the only idea that you can uphold is your own, and I believe you're starting to come around to that idea. You're not there quite yet, but this is a step in the process, and it feels like here within the next week or so, you are going to realize that this was for your own betterment. Possibly because somebody else was trying to control the ideas that you had in your head and how you viewed them. Cancer, this is your daily for September 30th. With the Death card in reverse, somebody is resisting change, and I think if that's you, you have good reason to resist change. It feels like over the past week or so, there may have been someone coming in from the past that felt that they exceeded you in some way, and I don't think they really did. I think they were just moving so much so that they could feel like they were getting something done, but they still managed to refuse to handle their situation, handle their issues, and you don't have a problem calling that out. You really don't. Recognize the personal transformation that you have gone through and the change that you have made that they have refused to, and this other person or people, it really feels as though they just kept changing the context in which they found themselves in. So they looked like, or they felt like they were changing, they were doing something about their circumstance, but in reality they weren't. Don't let them fool you. Leo for September 30th. And there we go. We've got the Emperor. Man with a plan, man that has it all together, right? And he is sitting there in his armor. He's ready to go. He's ready to relax at the same time. Now, it does feel as though he's going to have something that's up for discussion. So if this is someone that you're dealing with, or this is you, be prepared for someone to come to you and talk to you now that you look like you're relaxed and you're open to being approached. Now, as much as you may be dealing with a father figure or someone who believes they're a father figure to you, I don't think that they're as much of a father figure to you as they believe they are. Like maybe they think that you take them a little bit more seriously than you really do. Don't be afraid to approach them practically, because practicality seems to be a major theme for you right now, and don't be afraid to look like you have the leadership skills to lead your own life. Just because you're asking them for advice or asking them for their opinion, or maybe even help with something, does not mean that they have a right to an opinion about everything and everyone in your life. Virgo, for the 30th of September. Now, with the Eight of Pentacles, you may be suddenly getting the day off and deciding to focus on some part of you, something you've been kind of letting go, and deciding that I'll deal with that later. Now is whenever you're going to deal with that. Later is now, and it seems as though you may have been distracted, though. Distracted to think that, well, solving this problem is going to fix this problem. And then another problem came up, and, well, if I do this, then I can do that. And it just hasn't worked out that way. Really look at what it is that you're dealing with and the situations and people you're involving yourself with, and see if something is just kind of distracting you too much. And that may be why all the passion, all the motivation has gone out of what it is that you're trying to get done. What it is that you've totally lost the motivation to handle, and the thing that you haven't been able to work on may not be the thing that you need to change. Libra, for the 30th of September. The Fool. Whatever that tower was about has allowed you to kind of start a new life with, or not necessarily a new life, but a new path that you've been trying to get on for a while. It seems like all the extras that you had were kind of holding you back and slowing you down to where you couldn't get here, but here you are, and anything that wasn't meant to be with you is no longer there. So focus on this new beginning, and do not neglect all the possibilities, because there's something you've been waiting for or looking for to come in for you that is right there. It is available to you, and you can reach out and touch it. The September 30th for Scorpio. So Scorpio, I do have to say that before I start doing your readings today, that I could barely breathe. I could barely get a word out, edgewise without needing to clear my throat or cough or something. And I don't know what's going on with Scorpio right now here at the last week of September, but it seems like your energy is moving and it's energizing, and possibly because, at least one of the reasons, is it's clearing everything out for October. It's likely that you have a relationship that's kind of fallen by the wayside, or an idea about a relationship, or many for that matter, that have proven to be pipe dreams. And as much as you may be willing to invest in these relationships still, a big part of you is wondering, okay, you know what? My investment has gone nowhere. I'm going to wait and let it work for me. And if it doesn't, then it doesn't. And it can just, it's like putting into a relationship and there's no give back, there's no get back. And it really does seem like in the future you may receive something out of all the work that you've put in, but right now maybe you just need to stop and go back to investing in yourself for right now, because things aren't quite aligned the way that you need them to be to get the results that you want right now. So seek results elsewhere and from yourself. 30th of September for Sagittarius. 8 of Swords, and I almost kind of want to take this card out of the deck for a while because I'm tired of seeing it. But we're not, because it's showing up for a reason, right? And today, Sagittarius, to end the month, you may find that you are stuck in a spot. You're stuck in a spot because you may have gotten yourself wrapped up into something that didn't seem like it was going to be a problem, but now it is. It feels like a contract that you cannot break. Some kind of agreement that you're not allowed to question, and now you're in the position where that's exactly what you want to do. You want to break the contract. You want to question why it is that you're being asked to do something, and you feel a certain type of way about this. And it's not just for the actions that this has you maybe possibly committing against others, or even though it's just you doing your job, but you don't like how this makes you feel, and even though it's trying to be rendered down as a shallow emotion, I don't think it is a shallow emotion. This could be because there's some kind of mood altering drug that's involved that you're supposed to take, and it's being rendered down to being a shallow, pointless emotion that you should just be able to get over, and I don't think you want to get over it. I think you're in this position and you need to acknowledge how you feel about this. '30th of September for Capricorn. 9 of Cups in reverse. So with the 9 of Cups in reverse, I'm not sure you're really getting what you want. It seemed like you were getting a wish fulfillment, but then maybe things just kind of got turned on their head, where it's like, yeah, but with this wish fulfillment, you have a lot of responsibility, Capricorn, and it's quite possible that you're dealing with this in tandem with a Pisces, but also, just because you're getting what you wanted does not mean you're getting what you needed, and those two are not mutually exclusive. So just because you believe something will fill a void does not mean it will, and you may be still wanting whenever you get this wish fulfillment. Aquarius, for the 30th of September, last day of September, what you really thought was going to be a wish being fulfilled, a wish being granted, or just promises being upheld, I don't think that they were. Maybe someone made a good show of it, but whenever it came down to the real work and getting things done, you feel like you have to come back and clean up what it is that they were doing or what they were supposed to have done. Maybe you didn't tell them everything that they were supposed to do. Maybe they were not aware of the true gravity of what they were supposed to handle for you, and that's why it was kind of just like, okay, yeah, I'll get that done as soon as I can. And it was lower on their priority list than maybe it should have been. So it really is important that you trust yourself and you trust that intuition and any kind of feelings of insecurity that you have whenever you charge somebody to do something for you. And it's not so much that you need to hound them to do it, but maybe say, never mind, I'll get it done myself and I'll handle this myself. You seem to be busy. Pisces, for September 30th. 7 of Wands, because it's not just you that should have been building this fence. It's not just you who should have been drawing boundaries. And it seems like you have been doing all the work for both sides. So I'm also seeing a dog on a porch, like an old dog on a porch in the middle of the country, and they're asleep, but they know whenever somebody's walking up on them. As tired as they are, they will still get up and whip somebody's butt. So remember, if somebody thinks that you're down and out, that you're kind of not yourself anymore, that you've given up, I don't think that's the case. Just because you're tired and taking a nap doesn't mean that you're done, and doesn't mean that you're dead. You know, a nap is a nap, and if anything, I want to say this could be someone claiming victory far, far too early. If they come over there and try to do anything they're not supposed to, I don't think that you're afraid to snap at them.